Alright guys, here is the gear for today. Going to keep shaving with the Osprey. Today we're going to put the Nacet blade in it, just like the last shave. And I did look it up, and I believe this blade had one shave prior to yesterday's shave. And so the count is either 2 before today's shave or 3. The description will have the right answer for you there. So it's a pretty young Nacet. Strangelove by Dr. Jons. That is a soap company that is no longer in active production. It's a very good vegan soap base, and I'm just looking to see how that vegan base works with the Slurry Lather method. And a great Slurry Lather brush is most bore brushes like this Taj-handled Semogue Owners Club. And we've had him soaking for quite a while, 10-15 minutes. And so we'll top him off there with some water while we look at the Osprey. I just did an unboxing video. It's kind of a combination review unboxing, and so you can check that out if you want. It's a new-ish 3-piece razor that has this being an adjustable base plate assembly. And here is the Nacet inside. It's a young Nacet. It's not the one that I've got going tons and tons of uses on. Today we're going to go crazy and use the setting of 1. Shane said that the 1 was really reserved for people who want ultra mild shaves with their razor. He said generally speaking, at least the vibe that I got from him was that most people are not going to want to bother with the 1. It's going to be too mild for them. He recommended, if you like the feel of the DE89 type series, the standard Merkur head, if you like that, then maybe start at a setting of 4. If you like mild shaves, then 2 or 3, he said, is probably going to be where you want to go. Obviously, if you want something more aggressive than that, bump that number up. So we're going to try it on a 1 just to see. So he's all tightened down. Let's get some water on my face. The last time I used this soap, I either used it once or twice in a row there, and to try it with the Slurry Lather method, and you can see how much shrinkage has gone on over the few years that I have owned this soap. And indeed that did translate into the soap, taking a while to load onto the brush. I think maybe some of the water that was in the brush went down into the cavity here and then wasn't a part of the brush anymore. I'm just going to try it again. I wanted to give it some more time with the slurry method and just see. So we've got a very full brush here. Let's just leave it that full and see what happens. If you do see me tip my finger into the container here, it's to hold the soap and keep it from moving around. All right, we'll probably do something like 100 swirls. I don't know. We'll just see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let's stop at 90, and we've got a little bit of overflow there. Brush doesn't have nearly as much water in it because of this trough here. It kind of extracts the water out of the brush. First, I am going to use the extra, kind of like a primer or a face wash, and just to enjoy the smell. This scent is kind of divisive, but I'm so glad he made it. I like it a lot. And then a little bit poured out when I turned it over, not a whole lot. All right. So let's just see how the Slurry Lather works with Dr. Jon's this time. Oh, I can feel that water. It definitely is not as wet as past Slurry Lather attempts. And see, yeah, I just don't have very much soap going on here. So let's, that was a 90 swirl load. It seems like, again, I'm not picking up as much soap. The Chiseled Face Silk Tallow soap also required a lot of loading. I don't think I would need to load as much with this base if I was using it every day, and the wetness, the moisture was kind of residual, staying behind in the soap. But let's sprinkle a little bit of water on the brush here and then go back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 150 total swirls. There we go. Just kind of that immediate slurry. That's what we're looking for. Don't have to go much farther than that. And I'm going to rinse off the sides of the container. In true Slurry Lather fashion, we did not have to spend too much time putting that lather on right away. It's a slick lather. It's going to do the job nicely. The Slurry Lather method, as usual, is one that you don't want to really treasure the creaminess of the lather. You're more focused on speed, performance, short duration of the shave. Interesting, I can still feel, even at the setting of 1, a little bit of the blade. Oh, you know why? It's probably because I was doing a cross grain pass instead of starting out with the grain pass. Less feel now on that side. Very comfortable. Seems to be pretty efficient there. Take out a good bit of the growth. A little quick water. And then pass number 2. Starting to get a little firmer. Still nicely wet. I'm getting excellent slickness here. Just really top notch. You know what I'm saying right now? What I'm thinking is that one setting, I would not say that it is as minimal as you would think. I would not say it's made for only the people who want the mildest of shaves. I'd say definitely give it a shot. In fact, I wouldn't mind if he went a little milder, just to see if how smooth you could get, This is very comfortable. It'd be really hard to cut yourself with this setting, as you would expect. Water now. And now, what can our third pass be? If we're not being as efficient as usual, we may want to try it against the grain pass. Yeah, I kind of feel that way. Let's try that. This razor does seem to let me do an against the grain pass, and that is very, very uncommon. I can only think of maybe 2 or 3 razors that will do that. And you see, we definitely don't have too much soap in the brush. We've got plenty to give me a slick lather and a slick shave, but definitely not too much. So even with that 130 or 140 swirls, I could have done more. If I wanted something more creamy at this stage, kind of more luxury looking, then I should have loaded more. That's something I can change next time if I want. I'm really glad that I tried out the one setting and didn't just assume that he was right. He likes his lather a lot drier than I do. He shaved on camera when he was doing his Osprey video demonstrating razor technique. And his lather was definitely drier than I usually like mine. I'm taking these movements a little slower. Not right here because I do this all the time, but you saw on my face, those were directions I don't normally go. Those are new movements for me because of the fact that I'm kind of going a little bit against the grain now, and I don't usually do that. And there we go. And that's a great shave. It's not baby butt smooth, but it's tremendous. That's really nice. Very comfortable, no irritation. I can feel that slickness moving around. So my lather has persevered to the end. It didn't peter out and get dry or anything. I'm going to loosen up the handle, raise up everything so I can get a good rinse between the blade and everything. Set it aside. Now I'm going to get a good rinse on my face. So there we go. Could I potentially just stick with the setting of 1 with this razor? Honestly, I could. Did it feel less aggressive than the 2 shave yesterday? Maybe just a little. Yeah, I could probably tell the difference. So the 2 was still quite comfortable, but it had a little bit more blade feel. I would probably stick maybe with the 2, but honestly the 2 might just be my preferred setting here, just because I value comfort and it still gives me a close shave. Now, yeah, later on I will bump it up to 4 and 5 and we'll just see how it goes. Post-shave. What shall we do today? You know what? I've been enjoying the Gratiot League Square that I have here, the old salve that he made a long time ago. And it separates a little bit from the solids and the liquids, but what I do is I stir it with my finger. And then I do a little bit of squeegee wiping, and the little bit that's on my finger there is kind of what is going to be right for my face, and it's very nourishing. Skin just feels kind of rich and hydrated after using this stuff. And if I have some extra on the threads of the bottle, then I can just kind of top off certain areas, and that's going to smell good. All right, so that's today's shave. Just confirming that the Slurry Lather method works fine with the vegan soap from Dr. Jon's. The only difference from a kind of more standard soap, more standard type situation, is that it just needs a little bit more load time, that's all. And everything else was, had added a little bit of water to the brush, but everything else is just fine. Those 2 slurries that you saw, pass 1 and 2, were tremendously slick, and I got great performance. And then by 3, he started to thicken a little bit into maybe a much more mature lather. If I would have had longer load times, then I would have had that be a little bit more rich toward the end there. But as it was, that's just proof that that does work with the slurry method. In fact, I haven't really found a soap that doesn't work with it, and I've tried a lot, okay? But we'll keep poking around just for funsies, and I'm just kind of a little experimenter at heart. And going to clean up my gear. And there we go. Happy with that shave. That's my 3rd with the Osprey. And it definitely is a good shaver. Solid feel to the blade. For me, maybe that balance is the kind of almost the only detractor for me. And the handle there with the fluting, it just feels a little strange. It's a little slippery sometimes, but you do kind of have to hold it up for the center of balance, center of mass, a little closer toward the edge there. But in terms of razor performance, that holding and stuff that I just described, that is obviously a subjective thing. But in terms of the way it holds the blade, I feel a very nice, solid, smooth blade. Because of the small safety bar here, it reminds me of the era where the feel of the contact patch moving across your face is kind of small. And if you contrast that with like the Fatip, it has a much greater curve here to the contact patch, but in front of the blade. And so it just presents a different feel. And so obviously that's going to be subjective as to whether you like kind of an average sized contact patch on your face or whether you like a more minimal one. And the nice thing is the minimal one from the Osprey here is going to perhaps be more maneuverable around certain areas. That may really be important to some people. Well, there we go, guys. Thanks so much for watching. This is Sugar Daddy Shaves with an Osprey shave and the slurry method with the vegan soap base, probably version 3 of Dr. Jon's. Definitely some pucks of that running around. Maybe still in some vendors, but it's been a couple of years, so it may be out in almost all the vendors out there. But it's a good performing vegan soap base. He doesn't use plastic tubs, and so that's another thing that's maybe good for the environment. And he has very interesting scents in many cases, and so I definitely like when he was doing his thing. Take care. Have a good night.